Hi, this is Trisha with Trisha's Crafting Table, and I've decided I wanted to make a simple little advent calendar for this season of 2024 coming up. And I found some vintage free to use pictures out on the internet, and I put them together into a document, kind of resized them to be similar sizes. And if you'd like to have a PDF of that, just let me know. I'll be glad to send that to you so we can share this project together. I'm also going to use some construction paper just to make little envelopes that will fit each size of the picture. And I'm going to ink around the edges of these to make them look a little more vintage. This one looks pretty crisp, not as vintage as that, so I may smear some ink across the front of it as well to kind of darken it. So I've either decided I'm going to punch a hole near the center top of each so I can use a bent paper clip, because that's what I have on hand. And I could hang it from a string or the tree, hang it to a tree. Or I might just put some tape on the back of each image, like painter's tape, something that won't hurt the image, and stick it on a mirror, on a wall, or in the kitchen, or on somebody's door, just to let some Christmas be all throughout the house. For each day that we open up an envelope. I think that just sounds like a lot of fun. So I have a paper cutter that I'm going to use instead of scissors. I don't do real well with scissors. I mean, they're not straight lines anyway, even though they're small. I'm going to try the paper cutter first, and I might round the edges. I do have one of these things, I don't even know what it's called. Oh, Crop-A-Dile corner chomper. Just to round them, I might not. I think I might like them square. I think that may look more vintage if they're just left square. So that's what the plan is. I hope you'll pull up a chair and join me. This ought to be fun. So I'm just using the paper cutter to cut this down. I don't think it's working as well as I'd hoped it would, and I'm not going to film all this because you guys can figure out how to cut your own images off the paper. Scissors may work better for you, and they may end up working better for me. I don't know. That doesn't look too bad, does it? It's pretty good because I can always ink the edges, and that will make it look more vintage. It won't be so white around there. So I'm going to finish that up. I'll cut out all the pictures and then I'll be back. So I did decide I wanted to go ahead and ink the edges. I tried to do a little of this Distress Oxide Black Soot on the poinsettia, and it doesn't show up real well, but I can tell closer up that I did, but it didn't really matter. I didn't smear it because this is not a laser printer job. If I make those lines bigger, you can definitely tell that I'm inking up the edges and making it look a little more distressed, a little older, like maybe it's been through a fire even, who knows. I just think it's kind of cool what it does to it. So if you have ink, you can do that. If you don't, it's no big deal. I mean, these don't have to have it. This is just another step I'm choosing to do, but you can choose to not to. So I'm going to ink these edges and then I'll be back. Okay, so I have inked them, smudged some, dampened them. You can kind of tell, I don't know. It's all over my fingers. You should be able to tell from that. I love art. I love getting dirty with my art stuff. It's really good. It means I'm being creative, and I've been missing doing that. So I hope you're enjoying it so far. I hope you're doing something with me so far. Okay. Next is going to be making the little envelopes, but I'm going to kind of push these cards together so I can kind of see how many of the same size that I need. So I'll be right back. So I've grouped them together mostly by width. I'm just going to try this first. I've not done this before, so I'm just going to, I actually had one of these a little bit ago that I put one of these in just to see how far above it I needed to go. And now I know with that particular height that it's going to work, I'll put, I don't know, maybe 3 in there. I don't know what size envelope to make yet, but probably 3. I don't want to make them too tight. So I'll put 3 in. This is the plan. I'll make 3, I'll fold it over, I'll cut it across there and down in between the cards, and then maybe fold the edges back and tape them, or maybe just glue them in place, or maybe even tape, whatever's easier. You'll be able to figure that out. I'm leaving the top open so the card can slide in and we can get it out. I ended up cutting my pieces of paper just at the right height for all of these. When I say just at the right height, they'll be fine. They'll be covered up at the top. And it just turns out that this construction paper is 9 inches wide. So for these smaller pieces that I have, I'll be able to cut this section into 3-inch pieces for these smaller ones. I've not tested the bigger ones yet. You'll probably have to play with that if you decide to go this route. And for these bigger images, you won't be able to get 3 in there, but At that point, it looks like 2 would fit. So since this is 9 inches across, then I would just cut this in the middle at 4.5. So that's what I'm going to do next, is cut these down to size and glue the edges together. I decided to go ahead and show y'all how I'm gluing these together. I tried a glue stick, didn't work too well for me, so I'm using Aleene's original tacky glue. It could be any glue, it could be school glue, Elmer's, whatever. If you can do better with a glue stick than I can, try the glue stick. But these cards aren't quite big enough for me to swipe the glue stick on and then still have room for the card. Probably those little thin tapes that they sell in a strip and you can just roll it on would be ideal, but I don't have that. And so I'm using what I have on hand, which is this glue with a kind of a fine tip on it. So all I'm doing is, once I get it to go, is just run a fine little line up the edge and then close it, press it down so it seals, and it seals pretty quickly. I know it'll take a bit to dry, but just to show you, if I take one of these little images and kind of pop that open, it'll fall right in. So that was what I was after, and this is the type of glue that's working for me. I've decided, and you don't have to do it, but for me, I tested that crocodile chomper thing. I don't even know how to say it. So what is it? Crop-a-dial corner chomper. I tried it. It's got a 1/2 inch and a 1/4 inch, and I tried it on this. I really kind of like the way that looks on that 1/4 inch. So I'm probably going to round the tops of my envelopes just because I like the look, not because it's required. I got through with making the little envelopes and rounding the corners. I think they look cute. And I have all the little cards placed on each just to get an idea of what's going to be where. It doesn't really matter though. What I've determined is these don't need to be numbered because there's no specific order except for this last one. And for me, that's the most important one because it's about baby Jesus and it's the only one that's in the royal color of purple. So I'll probably just write Merry Christmas on the front of that. But for the rest of them, I've decided I was going to just, with a black map pencil, I'll probably just draw some simple little designs that I looked up on the internet, just like you could. And I sketched them on here first just so I can see how simple the design's going to be. Nothing major at all. I'll probably try to add a little color here and there too. If these red and green envelopes will even show it, that's the problem with them. But I'm going to show you how I'm going to do that. I'll just pick one and try it. Maybe it'll show up. I hope it'll show up on the camera. So on this one, I'm just going to do, let's see, I think I'll do a couple of hanging ornament balls. Make them different lengths. Just draw a circle. Does not have to be perfect. My goodness, this is just about having fun. Just draw a little bow on top of it. Maybe a little crisscross across it too. That might be cute. Unless that looks like Charlie Brown, the back of Charlie Brown's head. I might have to add some color on here so it doesn't look like that. Okay, I'm doing that. Hang on, let me get let's see. We'll get a blue. Maybe that'll show up better. We've got to have some color so it's not Charlie Brown or pumpkin looking with a bad mouth. It's supposed to be fun and Christmassy and cute. I think that's going to be good enough. So I see how simple that was. There's just nothing to that. Anybody could do that. Can't get a good there. That's good. So I'm going to do that on each. In fact, I'll probably tell you what I'll do. I'll just let you watch me do it. have decided with these that I am actually not going to punch holes in them. It would certainly not be hard to do. I'm real crazy about stuff like this. I want it to be centered. I would probably measure these things and just to make sure I was going to get the hole centered. But you could take your push pin, find the center, and punch your hole through. And because this isn't a real big tool, I would want to use the smaller paper clips. It would be much easier to go through a hole with the smaller paper clip. Just come through the back and then you would be able to hang it like I was mentioning. But I really am liking the idea of just sticking a piece of tape on the back and putting these in various places through the house. So that's what I'm going to do. And I hope you've enjoyed this. The only thing left to do really is just stuff your envelopes with these cards. Just drop them in there. And then once you have them, that was the last design that I did that I didn't record. But you can just put these in a basket loosely or, in a stack. I still really want that one to be last as far as this household goes. That's what we're going to do. So that'll be at the end. But I'm just going to load all my cards up and probably put them on a plate even. I think that'd be cool just to have them on a plate or in a cereal bowl or whatever. Just something simple where we can see it and know that we're going to get to pick one up every day. So I hope you've enjoyed this craft. Again, this is Trisha with Trisha's Crafting Table. And thank you for joining me and watching this because this has been a lot of fun for me. I hope you've enjoyed it and hope you all have a Merry Christmas. Thank you. Bye.